If the plant is dying, we don't change the plant, we add the manure or the water.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's not about the plant, it's not about the child. Change the manure, change the water, up it or lower it, and watch that plant grow. And it's the same for your children. It's not the child that's the problem, it's the environment.
Hello and welcome everybody. This is Sadhna and this is my channel, The Attitude of Gratitude. Today we have a special guest with us who has dedicated her life for the well-being of children. She is an inclusion specialist, Mrs. Louise Dawson. How are you today?
Hello, thank you very much for inviting me. I'm good.
So, Miss Dawson, can you please explain me about your life a bit?
Sure, of course I can. So many people will have heard this story before, but I left school with very few qualifications. I didn't particularly enjoy school and wasn't particularly successful. I went into work and business. I was in business for 20 years, very successful, then had my 3 children. And my 3 children are all autistic ADHD. And through that journey, I retrained as a teacher at 35 and a special needs coordinator and support systems in school. And from there, I then found out that I was autistic ADHD. And then from there, I decided to start my own business. And now I train schools across the Middle East.
I see. So today we will be actually talking about the kids who has the ADHD, right? The kids who has this ADHD, they feel it as a problem in the kid. So the point of today's episode is just to clear the word that this is not the problem. This is actually the strength in a kid. What they can do better, I think you also cannot do. So let's explain this. Ms. Dawson, can you please explain us?
Absolutely.
What is ADHD first of all?
Absolutely. So on the outside, we can see that everybody has a different hair color, everyone is a different height, everyone has a different eye color, we have different body shapes, we all have different cultures, The outside of us is very obviously different in every single person. And what's not recognized is that everybody on the inside is also very, very different. So we have people who are brilliant at media and cameras and videos and lights. We have people who are brilliant at dancing or music or singing. We have people who are brilliant at driving, but we have brilliance in accountancy or business or flying aeroplanes. Everybody has a different mind. When you put those children into a classroom and all 30 children are being delivered the same content in the same way, in the same subject, in the same seat, in the same classroom, that can be very challenging for some children. So the list of presentations for neurodiversity, which is the word that encompasses autism, ADHD, dyslexia, dysgraphia, dyscalculia, many different conditions. I don't think they're disabilities. They may disable us in the classroom, and it may disable us in a social environment or in any type of environment. It can be a disabling condition, but that doesn't mean we are disabled. For me, it's the environment that's disabled. It's the classroom that is disabling us rather than the other way around. So people with ADHD are brilliant business people. Often, they are brilliant at being creative or thinking outside of the box. They are very impulsive and they are very free thinking. The co-occurrences of autism, ADHD, dyslexia, they all kind of overlap. It's very rare that somebody is ADHD in isolation. But those presentations of people mean that they're good at different things. So put them in a box of a classroom with one teacher delivering one subject in one way. That can be the biggest challenge. So those are, we call them barriers to learning. Remove the barriers and actually our children can be very, very successful. So if the child can't write, let's give them a laptop. If a child can't sing, don't ask them to sing. If a child isn't interested in history, let's not put them through history. We were talking before we came on air about the importance of having different subjects in school. So I believe a school's job is to allow children to experience things that they may not experience if they didn't go to school, which is why the variety of subjects is there. So we have English, math and science, Arabic as a core subject, but then we do have geography and history, and we have all those other arts, drama. because we're trying to find out what the child's strengths are. So giving children variety of subjects allows us to find the strengths. But the challenge we have is it also highlights our challenges and our barriers and our weaknesses. So people say, oh, the child's no good at maths, therefore they're not intelligent. Well, actually, you can be intelligent and not be good at maths. The two things are not connected at all. So our brilliant accountants are going to be brilliant at maths, but our brilliant poets may not be good at maths. So yes, the school system highlights the challenges, but it also highlights the brilliance. And what we as adults around those children, whether we're parents or teachers, we need to stop making children feel bad for being different. We need to support them to be as brilliant as they can be in the areas that they can be, and not remove, but just downplay that actually you might not be good at maths. Just try hard, do your best, be your best, enjoy it, because then you'll have more success and you'll be what you will be. I'm absolutely number blind. I'm not very good at math. I don't see numbers very well. But I have an accountant to deal with that for me. So as an adult, I can choose not to do math. I have a centre manager who is brilliant. I have an accountant who is brilliant. I let them handle my math. I'm good at other things, like talking.
Yeah,
therefore, I do what I'm good at, and I leave what I'm not good at to my other team members. But you can't do that in school, which is why school becomes such a great big, barrier to happiness, really, for parents and for children.
Right. This is just I just want to give an example, because before we used to give an example, 5 fingers are not same. But now I want to create a new example today, like a person who's going to buy a bicycle and he's seeing the other side, a person is buying a car, but he's seeing the difference between, but he's not seeing the pocket, right? So you cannot say a bicycle is not right, because bicycle can climb on the mountains as car cannot sometimes. Right. So you cannot say one is wrong or one is right, means the benefit we have from bicycle cannot get from the car.
Correct.
So this is actually like that. The world have to accept the beauty of having a kid, or, around with you, we have so many kids.
We have diversity in transport. Therefore, we have diversity in people, and some are good at some and some are not cut out for others. And actually, that's okay.
Yeah.
I like watching ballet dancers. Doesn't mean I have to be a ballet dancer.
If everybody is a businessman or everybody sitting on higher designations, who will work?
How boring would that world be?
Yeah.
Really?
If there is no problem, how to solve it?
Right.
And if the life is going on the straight path, means we are dead.
Yes.
Because when we see in the hospital, when it becomes straight, we are dead.
Right.
Right? So life should be like this only. So before we going further, I would like to ask one more question from you, as I will ask you so many questions. So this is one of them. Can you please explain how you got inspired, as you have told me about you and the kids, and but basically there was a point in your life, maybe you have thought about it, why not to help the world? So which actually topic helped you to get yourself into this business so that you can help more kids around us?
Yeah. I think I was in business for 20 years before I went back into education, before I had my children. And at that time, I was young, I was a little bit naive, but I was chasing the money. Okay, I chased the money, I chased the career, I chased the promotion, I chased that new business deal. And I was very, very, like a lot of people, very materialistic. And I wanted the best car and I wanted the best house. And to be fair, I kind of had that. I lived in Hong Kong at the time, and I was having a very glamorous, 3 holidays a year, new car every year, a very glamorous, wonderful experience of life. And I had a great time. But when I look back and reflect, I wasn't happy. So, and I think a lot of people make that mistake when they come to the UAE. They are chasing a dream that doesn't actually make them happy. Some people are happy with that. Again, we're all very different. We're different. So this is the whole thing. We're different. And some people are happy with that. But intrinsically, right down in your heart, when I then went into education, and I went into education purely for selfish reasons, I needed to help my children get through school. And we were experiencing the same thing many parents experience. I didn't understand education. I didn't understand the classroom. I didn't understand the challenges that teachers have. and I wanted to understand. And I think that's the ADHD part of me. Well, if I can't understand it, I'll go and find out. So I adapted. I became a learning support assistant. I then qualified as a teacher. I did my degree at 35 and retrained. And once I was in school and I became a SENCO, or a head of inclusion, special needs coordinator, or a head of inclusion, looking after those children who struggled. Once I got my degree and some of my master's qualifications and I retrained, the joy I got from seeing a child get a grade higher, so they could have gone from an F to an E or an E to a D, the joy I got from helping those children to be successful surpassed any dirham, dollar, pound that I had in my bank account. And so I learned the art of satisfaction, intrinsic, driven satisfaction. The more I learned about diversity, the more I learned about autism, the more I learned about ADHD, the more the whole world just made sense. And so that just made me happy. And so I stayed. And teachers, they know they don't get paid a lot. Teachers are, one of the most undervalued careers. You do it. So one of the things I say is we don't teach for the income, we teach for the outcome. And many teachers have that philosophy, which is why many teachers are very, very happy having that career, because it is about children and growing that next generation. So then I found I loved it, and that's what makes me happy. And helping a parent who is struggling coming to terms with their child being diverse, helping a child who is struggling with a subject to become successful, helping a child who is depressed to I call it unfurling and get back into life, helping a child arriving in the UAE, finding a school place. All of those things really help me to sleep well at night. I'm ethical and I'm moral, and I feel like I live my life in a really good way for other people, and that makes me happy. And so why wouldn't you chase the happiness when it has so much more meaning than any, like I said, dirham, dollar?
That's wonderful. First of all, I want to say thanks to you, because if you would have not gone in this subject, means if your heart has allowed you to do it, and if you would have not gone, I would have never met you. So first of all, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And a lot of parents, they leave the problem to others. Mm-hmm. But you chose to help your kids and then the world.
And I think that's the beauty of the diverse thinking, right? Yeah. I didn't know that I was autistic ADHD until I was 50, okay? Before that, I was a little bit wacky, I was a bit weird, a bit impulsive. Why have you given up your career to go and be, a really low-paid learning support assistant? Why are you doing a degree at 35? Why are you entering a school? Why are you moving to Dubai? All of that impulsive. So some people say it's impulsive in a negative way. I think it's impulsive in a positive way. I don't believe I'm a tree. I don't have roots, and I don't have to stay here. I can do whatever I want to do. And if I don't like something, I change it. And I'm not frightened of that change, whereas many people are. So I think that for me, being neurodiverse is an absolute gift. It isn't for everyone. For some people, it is a real big challenge. But the importance of identifying your needs and your, whether you're ADHD or autistic, the beauty of identifying your needs is you understand yourself. And when you understand yourself, you can be more successful. And by successful, I mean happiness, not money.
Money, exactly.
It's a big, big shift.
We all say we come into this life, we take care of our families, but still, before we die, we have a purpose of life. Mm-hmm. So for that, every time I say in every episode of mine, get connected with yourself. Mm-hmm. When you'll get connected with yourself, the profession or maybe the hobby which you'll make as a profession will actually give you peace. And that peace is, I think, as you said, it is beyond dollars, beyond bungalows, beyond cars. It is the peace. The peace has no value. So 100%. That's very lovely. And I am really happy to hear that you are here to help people. So she is having her institute. Can you please tell us a little bit about your organization, absolutely, where people can connect you?
So I'm not the only one in the world doing what I'm doing. There are some brilliant and fantastic practitioners across the world, and especially in the UAE. I think the UAE has got some of the best talent in terms of supporting children and parents through the journey, and teachers. So my particular business is built around 3 areas. So first of all, I'm a neurodiverse person. I have neurodiverse children. They're in their 20s. I have parented them through primary school, secondary school, university, leaving home, into relationships, all of the challenges that experience. I've been a mainstream teacher. I've been a business person. I've been a department lead. I've been a senior lead. So I'm probably a little bit rare in that I've come at it from all of those different angles. So when a parent comes to me with a challenge, I can see their perspective, but I can see the child and I can see the teacher and I can see the school and the law and the regulation. I can see the whole picture, which means I'm able to problem solve it quite quickly. So the three parts of the business are: I train schools, I support school improvement, because I don't blame teachers for not knowing how to support the autistic child. They've probably never encountered an autistic child, let alone had to teach one. And there's very little teacher training involved in your teacher licensing.
Right.
So it's not their fault. And they need help and they need support. And when they become defensive, it's more around frustration because they can't do their job, a job that they are passionate about and they love. So training them to manage their classroom, manage the children and understand the diversity is the biggest part of what I do. So on the school improvement side, I work with LSAs, teachers, SENCOs, heads of inclusion, principals, school leaders and government in that school improvement. We need to get our schools doing a little bit better than they are. And in the UAE, the schools are way better than they are in many, many countries. So we are on a journey. We're not perfect for every child because every child is different. That's the main part. Then I work with children and families directly. So I have a centre in Arjan where families who are struggling can come and talk. Children who are struggling can come and get some support. And we match them with the right people. So because every child that comes to us has a different need. Some need psychiatry and psychology. Some need academics like English or maths or degree support. Some children just need to play chess with a friend because there isn't anyone to play chess with. So we match what the child needs with and provide that to them. The other thing we do, which has kind of come about organically, is that there are lots of products and lots of resources that can help schools and help families and help children, help families and schools and teachers to help children. Things like software, things like we have companies like Action Maps, which are a physical resource for movement and help with sensory integration. We have speech to text or text to speech software. So children who may not be able to write or may not be able to read can hear or speak their work, which is removing so many barriers. So companies like Everway, Read Write, Read Speaker, IDL, Nessie, lots of companies that we support. And if anybody's interested in any of those products, then they are listed on my website. And through that, we do training, we do webinars, we do all sorts of things. Do lots of podcasts, thank you.
Yeah.
So it's about spreading awareness of what the conditions are and how can we support them, because they can be brilliant. How do we help them? What do we need in order to help them? Putting into place the training and just helping everybody to take their next step. We are all here, wherever we are, whether we're a parent or a child or a teacher, we're here right now. And we all, to reach the top of the mountain, we just have to take one step.
Yeah.
And that might be a resource, that might be some training, that might be a listening ear, that might be some counselling, that whatever that next step is, and we help them to take that next step. Every next step is different.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. You are saying. And I would like to ask you one more question in between as you were having this. So can you please explain us? See, the world is not ready to accept. The parents are not ready to accept that my child have this. It's maybe problem for them, as it is not a problem, because if the child is doing something out of the box, which is really important. Everybody cannot be same. As a father cannot be a millionaire all the time, a mother cannot be a housewife all the time. As they are different, so children are also different. So can you please tell me how we should find out the problem in the child? Because the podcast is we have for short time. We cannot discuss too many details in it. So just give a small idea, because sometimes what happens when a person who's having 2 kids in the house or 3 kids or maybe 4 kids, they are not able to recognize the problem in the child. They say he is not studying because he don't want to. He is not studying because his or her attention is towards something else. They are not studying because he is lazy. So we have these kind of descriptions if the child is not ready to study. But when the child is coming to us and saying, I am not able to understand, the point is, at that point of time, they don't realize it. So can you please tell our viewers a bit about it so that they can find out the symptoms, at least in the house, in the early ages, so that they can help them?
So we have a saying, I don't know if you have the saying in your country as well, but we have a saying called, it takes a village to raise a child.
Exactly,
okay?
yeah, yes.
So it's not just, a parent can only recognise what they know. Yeah. And if they don't know, they don't recognise it. So you have to listen to people around you. So if your teacher is saying they're struggling with literacy or they're struggling with numeracy, it doesn't mean that they can't do it. It just means they might need a bit of help. And so children can struggle with physical motor, gross motor, fine motor. They can struggle with sleeping. They can struggle with friendships. They can struggle with, there's so many different things children can struggle with. But they're your children. And you love them already.
Right.
And what we have to do as parents is recognise that we have to love them for who they are, not for who we want them to be. And that's quite a massive shift. And I remember thinking before becoming a parent, oh, I'm going to have this child and they're going to do this and they're going to do that. And I remember my parents rolling their eyes saying, they'll be who they will be. You won't actually get a lot of say about who they will be and what they're going to be good at and what they're going to struggle with. And that takes a little bit of time to process that. So you have a child, they're born of love, they're born from two people who wanted them and who loved them, and you get given this child. Whatever you're given, you have to deal with, otherwise you shouldn't have children.
Right.
So the child could be blind with a vision impairment, or they could have a hearing impairment. They may be born with one leg. They may be born with autism. They may be born with ADHD. They may be born with autism and gifted and talented. The co-occurrence and overlapping of these conditions is very widespread. So you're given this child. Your job as a parent is to strengthen their strengths, accept the challenges, help them to grow and be happy and successful, teach them the morals and the ethics of life, because you get a lot further if you're nice and kind. I know this is a part of what you do and the work you do. You get a lot further if you're nice and you're kind. You could be a rubbish mathematician and be kind and still be successful. You could be a rubbish artist and be kind and still be successful. So if your child is struggling and you think that there may be a condition, then speak to your teachers. Every school in the UAE has a head of inclusion or SENCO. Speak to them. They have enough data, they have enough knowledge of your child to know if there is maybe or maybe not a condition present, and then explore it and get them the help that they need, because you can remove a lot of those barriers. But a lot of it's around acceptance. It's okay to be different. In fact, it's brilliant to be different. And I want my children, I've got 3, so that all 4 of us are autistic ADHD, but all 4 of us are incredibly different. One of mine is a brilliant mathematician. One of mine is not so. One of mine is a great speaker and communicator. One of mine is not so. You know, I have my strengths. Every single one of us has a completely different spectrum, if you like. And that's okay. And it's beautiful. And it should be celebrated. And, you know, diversity should be celebrated, 100%.
When we are getting a plant from outside, we put water, we put manure, we put everything to,
help it grow.
Help that plant to get a flower, right? But when it comes to our own things, we are very much neglected.
I was just going to say, when you talked about the plant, if the plant is dying, we don't change the plant, we add the manure or the water.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's not about the plant, it's not about the child. Change the manure, change the water, up it or lower it, and watch that plant grow. And it's the same for your children. It's not the child that's the problem, it's the environment.
Yeah, because if I think if the environment around a child, whether the child is having a ADHD or maybe a normal child or maybe anything, it depends on how you are giving knowledge or helping your kid to grow. There are different people. The parents are not same. Some are angry parents. Some are very cool parents. Sometimes are different, sometimes different. So when the parents can be different, why not a child can be different? I think for world, it is very important to accept what you have. This is the episode of gratitude. Please, people actually spend ages to get a child. You are blessed if you have a children in your houses. Please take care of them. That is my message to all of you. And she is here because of that. We want to help you guys. So in case of any need, you can directly message me, or otherwise I will put her email address in the description box. Please look for it, but don't be quiet in the house. That's right.
Thank you.
So before this, I had one more question. So when the children, they are facing this challenge in the classroom, the classmates are not ready, they bully them, right? The teachers, sometimes the teachers are paying attention to these kids. But what happens, the child is not ready to explain that the problem is coming. In this situation, how a classroom teacher should express or maybe behave with the child?
The first thing we have to recognize is that bullying is an animal behavior. It happens in every animal behavior system known on the planet. And it's the survival of the fittest, or it's wanting to be better. So wanting to be better, not necessarily better than somebody else, but to be better is a natural instinct that we're born with. You can't change it. One of the things I say is you can't be bullied if you don't allow yourself to be bullied. So one of the things we have to do with our children is help them to be strong enough. And when children come to me and say, I'm being bullied, I don't go and look at the bully. I look at how can I strengthen that child, okay? And you can. So if I actually had this last week, a child came to me and said, Miss, they keep calling me fat. And I said, and what do you do? I cry and run away. Well, if you cry and run away, they're just going to do it again, because that's quite funny, isn't it? Right? So bullying is a natural human animal response. So when a child, it comes to me and says, Miss, they are being mean to me, I'm going to work with that child and help them role play with them so that they have an appropriate response that isn't violence, but isn't running away. So standing up to your bully, and you can train children to do that. There is a brilliant place called Warrior Academy in Ajam, and they work really, martial arts does this. It gives young people strength to say, yes, I may be fat, but I'm really happy. That's a good response.
That is to accept.
Yeah. If you don't like your weight, you can do something about it. Some people have a medical condition and they can't do something about it, but you can be happy with who you are. Yes, I'm fat, but I'm happy. Yes, I'm fat, but I've paid for it all. There's loads of responses we can give to children so that they're strong enough to not run away, because it only continues when you run away, because that is considered funny.
Basically, I think that comes from the family, because when the family starts accepting these kids, or maybe accepting any behavior from the kid, and they will teach them the value of acceptance. I think that time, I think it's the best time where kid is able to accept their own selves.
Absolutely. So they should report it. They should always seek adult support. Talk it through. The adults can help them to regulate, to emotionally regulate, to respond in an appropriate way. The adults can talk to the other children if it's continuous and ongoing. If you're a parent, you should be keeping a diary of what is said, how often it is said, what does that look like? Because bullying is prolonged. It's over a long period of time, and it takes many different forms. So your staff at school are going to want to know how often, what is said, what is happening. Is dinner money being taken? Are they being hit in the corridor? We need to have that pattern to show that it's bullying. Otherwise, it's just a one-off incident, and you have to differentiate. But if someone bumps into me, I'm saying, oh, I'm sorry, am I in your way? And I'm moving on. I'm not going to get into an argument with them. I'm not going to say that they're a bad person. If they do it again, I'm going to say, hey, you did that yesterday. Please mind your personal space. Recognizing also that that person might have dyspraxia and may not be able to watch their space. Right. So if I see them coming, tomorrow I'm going to walk down the other side of the corridor. I'm going to protect myself. I don't have to put myself in those positions where
Means you can change the way.
change the direction, but make our children safe in themselves, then you can't be bullied. Much easier said than done, because even as an adult we can be bullied, and it's much easier said than done. But strengthening ourselves is more important than chastising the person, because often the person that is doing that negative behavior or is exhibiting that challenge, they often have a challenge themselves that also needs to be addressed. They might not have any friends. They might be trying to get to know you, but don't have the social skills. There's all different reasons. Blame, anger, disappointment, going for the other family, going for the other child, none of that is helpful. Take a step back, breathe, work out what's going on, and then take a positive step, not a negative step.
Negative step. Yeah. And see, now the world is like most of the parents are working from morning to evening, even both.
I did that.
Yeah. So in this case, what is your suggestion? Like how much a parent or maybe both should spend a time with the kid every day? Means it is required to stay on their heads 24/7, or it is the time requirement, like before a kid is going to the school, maybe that time, or maybe coming home that time. So what is your suggestion to parents? Like,
I think every family is different, and every age is different as well. So when they are 6 months old, yes, you are going to be with them 24/7, but you do have to relinquish and let go.
Right.
So by the time they are 12 or 13, they should be fairly independent. So they should be able to bathe themselves. This is if they don't have a condition which prevents them from doing that. But they should be able to bathe themselves. They should be able to cook 1 or 2 meals for themselves, 11, 12 years old. By 13, 14, they should be managing their own homework. And if they're not managing their own homework, the school need to put into place consequences for that. I don't necessarily think. So for me, I separated school and home. School's job was to educate and keep on top of the homework and help them to become independent, to do the learning. Because if the parent takes control, they're not going to be successful at university. So we have to, I think I use my hands a lot, but when they're born, it's all of the time. And through the years, up until they're 18, you have to slide out. If you stick here, you won't get independence. You have to slide out so that they can fly.
Right.
And that's slowly and gently across time. And that's fathers and mothers and foster carers and adoptive parents and everybody. Everybody just needs to slide out over time. That's how you get independent adults.
I have seen here in Dubai actually, but for a male is very difficult to accept.
For some males,
Yeah,
yes.
yes. Because before he was not aware
But
about
for
it.
some women too. I don't think it's a gender thing. I think it's the way that you've been brought up, what you've had as an experience. I grew up with people who used wheelchairs. I grew up with people who were hearing impaired and vision impairment. Because I had that exposure, I think that's why I'm so inclusive, is because I had that exposure. Many people don't have that exposure when they're growing up. So it is alien and it is seen as taboo and it is seen as a bad thing. But actually, if you take a step back and just have a look at the world, you know, people like Richard Branson, people like Elon Musk, we might not particularly like them, but they have got to a certain level of what they call success. It's not my kind of success, but their level of success by being risk takers, by being different, by being, you know, by stepping out of the mold. So everyone has a place in the world.
It is basically the same way. Everybody is different. Yeah. Every state.
It all comes back to
every
that.
Every country, every state, every male or female, somewhere, somehow they have the problem. So it is basically the problem of the world. Not
and if people want to change their perspective, great. And if they don't want to change their perspective, great.
That's the thought
I'm not about fighting with people. I'm about come to me with your question and I will help you and guide you on that journey to acceptance. But blame, fear, anger, hatred, it doesn't have a place in my world. In my world, we help. We help each other to take the next step.
It is basically, I would request all parents, please take care of them. Please be very nice to your kids and ask for the help if it is required. But don't be ashamed of your own kids. Because the confidence, if you'll not show today, maybe they will lack somewhere tomorrow. So before we going further, I have just one last question. And that is, I think, a bit related to the and now you are seeing the world is mostly, like the new generation is mostly into computers, websites, or maybe there are new apps coming. So how these can help these kind of children who's having the ADHD? So how the laptops or computers or maybe new apps, can help them in future?
So I think the generalization that computers help all people with a condition is not true. Okay. I know autistic people who don't want to be involved in computing, don't want to access apps, don't need to access apps. The thing about diversity is every single person needs something different. So if a child is struggling to write, the laptop can help them with speech to text. It can help them by using a keyboard. They don't have to have the fine motor control. The muscle memory of touch typing can really help children who struggle with the writing. But then there are different children who struggle with reading. So then audiobooks can help. So if they can't read Shakespeare's Macbeth, they can listen to it, or they can watch it on YouTube or watch it in a theatre. So the challenge is, if a child is struggling with something, you find a solution for that something, and every single child is different. So computers do help, absolutely. We have electric wheelchairs, we have all of those devices, cameras. It's all technology. Technology is a good thing, but not all people with ADHD or autism need it. So it's picking what each person needs in order to be successful.
Basically, as we can talk, I can ask about myself, but there are people who are not able to manage the fees of a special educator, or who are not able to buy these kind of products which can help their children. So for those kind of people, what suggestion you want to give?
There are so many free resources. So if you're a WhatsApp user, you can press the microphone and it will type what you say. That's free of charge. Google Word has free of charge speech to text. Microsoft Word, Google Docs and Microsoft Word, they have free speech to text. They have free text to speech as well. So there are many free resources. So if you have a specific question, get in touch. If it's a specific challenge, and we'll find there's so much that's just free and inclusive.
So it means you want to say that they have to find out the solution maybe on the Google if they cannot pay.
First you find the challenge and then you find a solution. For every challenge, there is a solution. Every challenge.
Yeah. Okay. So basically the school helps to tell them like the child is having this problem. Okay. So before I'll finish today's episode, I would like you to tell the last suggestion of you which can help ADHD kids.
Have an open mind. Look at we call them glimmers. There are triggers that make us unhappy. There are triggers that make us angry. There are triggers that set us off. But we have glimmers. Every single person has glimmers in their life as well. So look for the glimmers. Look at what the children are good at. Give them status in what they're good at. So I'm working with a young man who has ADHD who is really good at social media. So let's put him and give him status within social media, because when we are saying this is good, this is you, he can tackle the stuff he doesn't like because he's got the resilience, because he's doing good stuff as well. Okay. So whatever your child is struggling with, look first for what they're good at, celebrate what they're good at, accept what they're not good at, and they will tolerate this because they've got this. Okay. Be open-minded.
That's the very lovely
Look
of
for the
you.
glimmers and be
open-minded.
open-minded.
You are saying every statement of you, I think it's coming from your heart only.
100%.
Because actually, while doing this, you're happy. So before we finish, as we have a Miss Dawson with us, and she has replied and helped us today to know more about ADHD, I have a special gift for you. This is from Yellow Drapes. This is the Amazon online, like the company is on Amazon.
Thank you.
And they are doing the home furnishing stuff.
Oh,
so these are the homemade candles for you.
Oh, it's going to rustle. It's going to rustle. They are beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yellow Drapes.
Thanks. Thank you so much. So before we finish today's episode, I would like everybody to start accepting what you have. Feel gratitude for what you have today. And it is very important, because you are the lesson you are giving to your kids. If you will start accepting they will understand the value of acceptance and gratitude. If you need any help regarding for ADHD children, please contact me, or you can contact Miss Doyson. I will add her email address in the description box. Please go there and check, and please seek for the help. Love you all. Have a wonderful day.